This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for this, May the 7th, 2021, is a man who has just retired from the NFL. He's been known as the comeback kid, but unfortunately was dumped off by the team that he held the Comeback Player of the Year award with. So basically, he decided to retire. And that is Alex Smith. He's now 37 years old from Bremerton, Washington. So Alex Smith would play college ball for the University of Utah, which, let's face it, that isn't really a college football safe haven except for Steve Smith Sr. But anyway, he was All-American. Utah won the 2005 Fiesta Bowl with him, and he was picked first overall by the San Francisco 49ers in the 2005 NFL Draft. Smith had a lot of problems, but helped the Niners get to the NFC title game in 2012, where he lost to the New York Giants. However, a concussion he suffered made sure that San Fran would have a new starting quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. He was then traded to Kansas City, who he helped do pretty well playoff runs, with only one postseason victory in the playoff runs. Smith was traded to Washington in 2018 because they wanted Patrick Mahomes to be the starter and all that. Smith would have the life-threatening injury to his right leg, which almost had amputation. Smith went through rehab and got him to return in 2020 and helped Washington win the NFC East somehow and to become Comeback Player of the Year. So anyway, yeah, so Utah, he did pretty good starting in college. He got a couple of bowl wins for Utah, all that. So San Francisco decided to go for Alex Smith. And it was kind of a smart move, if you will. Miami went number 2 and took Ronnie Brown from Auburn, who was running back, who was okay in a sense. Cleveland took Braylon Edwards from University of Michigan, and he was decent. The Bears took Cedric Benson, but he didn't want to play for Chicago. Some kind of issues with Chicago. And Cadillac Williams was picked 5th by Tampa, the running back from Auburn. There weren't any superstars except for the massive drop of one Aaron Rodgers, who right now might not be playing for Green Bay much longer. So anyway, Alex Smith was good. San Fran almost went with Aaron Rodgers though too. So Smith agreed to a 6-year, $49 million contract in July 2005. But injuries would hurt him so much. And all that. Smith would try to bulk up and, he improved himself. But yet again, San Fran kept giving up more offensive coordinators and all that. So they went with 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years. Man, this was amazing. So Alex Smith was a decent guy for the Niners, but basically there were a lot of issues and all that. However, the 2011-12 season was good. Smith led the Niners to a 13-3 record in the regular season and got to the first round of the playoffs. Smith would make his first playoff appearance after 3 head coaches, 7 offensive coordinators, and 17 different starting wide receivers in 7 years. Man, can you believe it? San Fran went through offensive coordinators like Kleenexes. Niners would beat New Orleans in the divisional round with the big pass to Vernon Davis. Unfortunately, though, they would lose the NFC title game to the Giants. He was a free agent. The Niners wanted Peyton Manning, and Smith decided to visit the Dolphins. Alex Smith would play for Miami only if Peyton Manning went to San Francisco. But Manning Manning went to Denver, and so Alex Smith would sign a 3-year contract. And all that. The problem for Smith that season, the 12-13 season, was that Colin Kaepernick was coming in his own. So basically, Smith looked good and all that. So, the Niners actually favored Kaepernick over Smith. So basically, they decided to trade Smith to Kansas City for a second-round pick in the 2013 draft. So he was basically Kansas City's quarterback. All that. Unfortunately, Alex Smith's first Kansas City playoff game was a disaster for the Chiefs. They went to Indianapolis. They had a golden chance to knock out the Colts in the playoffs. However, he couldn't handle it, and the Colts won 45-44 after a massive 20-plus point comeback. The Chiefs crushed Houston in the 2015-16 wildcard round, but they would lose closely to the New England Patriots in the divisional round. In fact, the Chiefs were the first team to be 1-5 and win a playoff game. The next season, he got the Chiefs to the divisional round against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh beat them. And Alex Smith did okay for the 2017-18 Chiefs, but they lost to Tennessee in the wildcard round after a massive comeback from the Titans and making Sean McDonough voice break twice. Kansas City decided to go with Mahomes as their starting quarterback and trade Alex Smith to Washington for cornerback Kendall Fuller and a third-round pick. Unfortunately, though, things would be disastrous. A few months into the 2018-19 season, he suffered a spiral and compact fracture to the tibia and fibula when he was sacked by J.J. Watt and Kareem Jackson of the Texans. It drew parallels to Joe Theismann's gruesome injury on Monday Night Football. Smith developed sepsis, which made him go through 17 surgeries. They almost amputated above the knee of his right leg. However, they did perform skin grafts and an operation transferring muscles from his left quadriceps to save the leg. He had to wear a device for a year and basically was physically unable to perform list, missing the entire season 2018. However, he shocked everyone by early 2020 saying that he would come back to the NFL. It's like, what the? Well, he was cleared to resume football activities, and then basically in 2020 he came back in Week 5 against the LA Rams and all that. The fans loved him. It was probably just a one-off. However, Smith started to pick up ground and all that. Especially in Week 13 when the 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers came to town. He sent Washington to a 23-17 victory. 296 passing touchdown. However, Smith would be the hero against the Philadelphia Eagles by beating them and getting them somehow the NFC East Division title. Unfortunately, he had a bone bruise and he wasn't playing in the game against Tampa. It would have been nice to see Alex Smith versus Tom Brady. The Skins decide to release him March 5th, and Smith has just retired as of April 19th, 2021. So, as a starter, he did okay. He almost got 100 wins. He missed 2 full seasons due to injury, 2008 and 2019. His touchdowns to interceptions, not that great. 199 touchdowns, 109 interceptions for 35,650 yards. In the postseason, he only won 2 full season games in his career, 2-5. Not good. However, weird as it sounds, his passing was great. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and the guy only went 2-5 in the playoffs. Jeez. He actually has an NFL record for most passes to start a season without throwing a pick, 287 back in 2017. That's amazing. Alex Smith's uncle was a college football head coach for many teams, including Louisville and Michigan State. His cousin Chris Shelton used to play in baseball. He would marry a former Oakland Raiders cheerleader. How ironic, because he plays for the Niners. And he has 2 sons and a daughter. So Alex Smith basically was the comeback kid with that leg injury. And then Washington cut him off dead weight. Are you nuts? They're going to pay for this. Washington will make a giant mistake. Just you wait and see. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adu.